Thursday morning. A little bit of a slow start this morning. I had a lot of stuff to catch up on. I kind of went to bed early. I was feeling really kind of felt like I was like trying to come down with a cold or something. So I kind of didn't keep up with all the mails and stuff I've been getting. So I had to do a lot of catch up this morning. But we're back in the game, and yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Let's do a real quick tweet, real quick. Just to let folks know that I am on and that I still have CBT codes available. I think that's harder to say than PTR, but some people seem to get confused between the two. So, anywho, a few things of note. I had another quick little discussion with Ovain yesterday about how where we are on his plot. Basically, we're kind of coming down to the last bits. Yeah, we're currently sitting at 660 of 1,000 on the exterior, which is really still pretty good because once the free-to-play hits and the plots are expanded a bit, we'll have still quite a bit of decor to kind of flesh out any of the forest area that he wants to include, and how he might want to lead up to this area from the new location of the teleporter and that kind of thing. So I'm really happy with that. That gives him lots of decor space to play with. Like, say for instance, he wants to add some waterfalls and that kind of thing. On the interior, which is where we've been working with mostly, it's a different story. We're sitting at about 893 of 1,000 right now. It's pretty close, about the same for the decor owned. So I've been doing a lot of building, trying to use up things that he already has in his crate rather than buying new materials. But just due to the nature of some of the things that we've been putting together, it's a requirement that I buy certain things. You'll see that here shortly when we take a look around. But I've pretty much supplied him with kind of like a final shopping list kind of thing. Some of the deals that are like must-have items, optional items if he wants to go specific directions, and then the rest will just be kind of used to fluff it out. So that's why today's title is Fluffing It Out, because basically we're kind of down to the last few little bits and bobbles. We're not really planning on doing any big additional structures or anything, but I'll explain that more as we go around. So as far as the living space with the kitchen and bedroom and living room and all that, I'm pretty much going to be leaving it like it is from here on. I may be adding some more plants and books and things here and there, but that will come at the very, very end. I just don't want to spend too much time in that and then kind of block efforts elsewhere. But you know, I've explained to him that with this particular like a display cabinet, he can easily add extra bits out to expand it on both sides, maybe one here and 3 or 4 here. He could also add some stuff up here if he wants. This is mostly for his plushie collection, which you can see we've tried to showcase one of each of the types that he currently has in his crate. And I filled in with a few extra little bits, but I decided to kind of hold off on that again because I wanted to save that for the very end kind of thing. These aren't necessity kind of deals. The plushies are, that was a big requirement for him to have a plushie display on, but the rest of it is kind of frivolous stuff. Again, we reworked part of the kitchen area and the living room and dining to kind of better tie in the orange wood color, the yellow, the golden, to kind of kind of mimicking the gold of the Ichthyan materials in the lab area. So I've just kind of tried to bring that in on this side as well. So I've just spotted certain bits, like the tabletop is that way and this cabinet is there and all that kind of thing. I haven't brought it as much over past the kitchen area, but I do have, like, the legs of the couch are the same coloring and everything. I'm not going to really add too much, again, to any of this. So I did add some cabinets up top. We got that sorted. It looks a little weird from this angle. It looks like it's out of alignment, but if you actually go inside, it's relatively evenly spaced, and just wanted some extra bits up here. He could add more to go all the way around if he wants. He could add a double section if he would like. It's really just kind of up to him where he takes the plot from where I give it to him. I think he's planning to leave the house up as I leave it for a period of time, just to let people come and have a look. And then from there, he will modify it as he decides to incorporate new decor that we get, and comes up with other ideas on his own and that kind of thing. So he's been real generous and letting me just kind of run wild with it, and you know, he's given me a bit of direction here and there, but pretty much it's just been kind of to my own devices here. We did change out the dome and the cylinder for this particular little display case. I originally had the Draken version, which was kind of more stony looking, and he suggested making it better match all of the wood that's in the areas, so I just switched it out. It's just a matter of copying the coordinates and slipping it in there. So that is that. I did add a few candles up here, just to kind of, I don't know, set a mood kind of thing. I really haven't done anything new in here. I did add this vase, which I will be adding some little plants to later. Again, that's kind of we may do that this morning, but we'll see how far we get. I just need to remember to check back in there. But you know, I have the little terrarium here, and then there's one in the kitchen, and I figured one in the bedroom would be a nice, just kind of tie it all in together. As for the library area, we haven't done anything new to it that I can think of. We've added some lighting and such to kind of help brighten it a little bit. He did play around with the overall room lighting. He considered using Hellfire or going to the full-on dark, but ended up in the end deciding he just didn't like it. The only reason he was considering those settings was because with the Ichthyan tanks here, the coloring is somewhat opaque the brighter the room is, so it's hard to see what's inside. But I'm planning to do some rework here to kind of better lay in some plants so that you really see it down here, and just the taller parts, they'll be there, but you might not notice them as much. You'll also see that we've added in a desk space here, kind of reworked the bridge area. I had originally kind of linked the two areas up, and ended up he wasn't too fond of that, so I removed it and just made kind of a glass balcony up here. Again, he wanted to kind of mirror the glass on this side onto the lab, just to kind of help tie it in. I've added some Oran pillars for just to kind of close it off. It felt a little weird having it just, you know, just a glass panel ending. So I just kind of suited up. I considered extending it down all the way, but I think it's not necessary. And again, we're pinched for space, so I don't want to just build it for the sake of building it. I want to, you know, have it give it a purpose. So we're going to leave that as is. The garden thing, I don't think he's opted to. Yeah, he's not provided the extras for doing a second one. Whoops. Oh, that was bad. He's not provided the extras for making a second one of these, so I'm going to assume, at least for the time being, that he's just wanting the one. We talked about that later once he has access to the waterfall decor, that he might consider, since it's tiered, there might be a way to kind of have the water flowing from one tier down to the next. He may have to make some size adjustments to do that effectively, but it's an idea I thought of, and he kind of seemed taken by it, so that may be something he works on later. But we were kind of trying to figure out yesterday how we might incorporate roots from the above tree and ground and stuff to kind of bring more of the nature aspect of it into the lab. Right now the lab feels really clinical, and we want to keep it in part but not completely. So he's asked me to kind of play around with some ideas of putting in more wood around the desk area, just to kind of get it all as like one single piece. And then we've been playing around with the mossy overgrowths to kind of throw in some root kind of stuff to kind of feel like it's, while the lab is here, it's been kind of built around and in amongst the roots that are coming from above. As he gets a hold of more of those, we will bring them in. I don't think he's had an opportunity to get a hold of any others, but so that will come later. Let's see, what else? So today we'll probably be fixing this back up the way I had it. I've already moved the monitor back, but I need to replace the keyboard and situate these again, because like I said, I had changed it up to kind of give a little glass bridge here, but wasn't too fond of that idea, so we're just going to set it back the way we had it, more or less. Let's see, I'm not sure if he got the Chewa tank. No, it doesn't look like it. Whoops, no, wait a minute, I spelled that wrong. Okay, so we do have the Chewa tank, so I'll be situating that one over here as we've got this one. The only thing I'm concerned about is I will have all of these extra bits poking up over here as well, so that may interfere with the little tiered garden that we got over here. I'll just have to see how that looks and decide on whether I'm going to change the size of it, the orientation of it, that kind of thing. So mostly we'll be doing that. I'm going to be working on filling some of the tanks with flowers. I'm going to be changing out this particular bit here to something else, and just kind of working on plants and maybe a few books and things that I think might work. And of course we'll be trying to finish off this wooden part for the desk. So that's what we'll be working on today, and hopefully as he finishes acquiring the last few bits, we'll be able to kind of finish this off nicely. That said, I do have a couple of new projects that will be coming into play. I've had another guildmate approach me about some work on his plot. His theme is going to be kind of like a wasteland, post-apocalyptic kind of thing. He's kind of basically, again, just kind of giving me freedom to doodle around with whatever I think might fit. He's already done a little bit work on his plot himself, and he will probably continue to do so. But I think he's hoping that maybe my contributions will help spur up not only his own ideas, but just kind of help things kind of come together a little quicker, maybe. As I said, I've got several projects going on, so I'm having to juggle a lot of things to try and make it all work. But so we may be showcasing some of that project as well. And then, as it happens, Katia, the one that does the Katia Builder's Toolkit add-on, and she's also responsible for the mini game called Wild Ball. that she's devised. I'm going to be working with her to try and bring Wild Ball to Jabbit. I was in contact with her yesterday. We were exchanging mails, trying to figure out if it was even possible that I could kind of handle it. Because when she first inquired of EU folks that might be interested in hosting the Wild Ball on their plot, she described it as pretty code heavy, which I'm very not brainy at all, so that kind of stuff scares the daylights out of me, because I'm one of those people that if it can be broken, I will break it. So I kind of told her, you know, hey, if it wasn't for that, I might be willing, but I'll, you know, pass the word around and hopefully somebody will volunteer. Well, as it stands at the moment, no one has. So she kind of thought about it and said, hey, I think we can kind of get past most of the coding issues that might come up. So yeah, probably this evening, afternoonish, I may be starting on trying to replicate her entity version of the Wild Ball field onto an alts plot of mine. I had originally thought I was going to go ahead and use one of my current existing alts for this project, but I'm more in the mindset that I'll just go ahead and make a new one. So that'll require me to spend at least a few hours leveling her up to get access to housing and that kind of thing. But I do have like a shopping list I'll be able to go by, and hopefully I'll get it set up within you know, the next week or so. I don't want to say it'll be, you know, within the next day or so, because things may not go as planned, or I may have other things come up that make it difficult for me to find time to work on it as much as I would like. I also have, you know, this project and other projects that I'll be working on. So, but just a heads up that that is in the works. I'm going to be working on it, and of course I will be probably showcasing some of the construction of that, as well as probably showing some of the gameplay as far as the matches that you can have with the Wild Ball thing. So it should be interesting. I'm hoping at least some of my guildies will be interested in trying it out. But I will be setting the plot to public once it's built, and opening up the doors for whoever might want to give it a try on Jabbit EU. So fingers crossed everything goes well and without any major hitches, and we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, we've got this project to work on, so let's just kind of dig in, I guess. I guess we'll start with the tank, because that's I think that's the thing that's going to pose the biggest problem for me today. Let's see, let's just positioned in. Looks like I didn't like clone it exactly. Sometimes it gets a little squirrely. Not sure what causes it to do that. 254. But you know, beyond the squirreliness, all of these tools that Katya has been setting up for us has been just a really big time saver. Those of you that are into housing as well will be delighted to know that the set manager that I've been kind of showing off the last couple of times we've been streaming is being drastically improved. She's working on setting it up so that you can just copy the entire plot if that's what you want. She's also setting up so that, like, say you like with the couches that we copied before, I had to link it up originally and then copy it, and then I moved the linked version and then pasted it back down. But she was showing me how you can actually, how to kind of use the relocate. Whoops, I just closed that up. The relocate button for it. Basically, that means you can just move yourself wherever you want in the new pouch or whatever it is that you're copying over. Stand in that spot, hit that button, and then move out of the way so that it can build right where you were. Makes it really easy. But in addition to that, she is setting it up, or has set it up, at least in the unreleased version, to automatically link all of those pieces together so that straight away you just grab one and move it. And that's just going to be an awesome addition to our toolkit here. Okay, so let's see. I really need to get this kind of lined up better, I think. How do I have that over here? It's kind of got the brown showing around the edge. Okay. Pull that out a bit. Probably gonna have to adjust the angle that it's sitting at as well. Something along those lines. It's kind of pretty close, the same. Now I have to see just what it looks like up here with all the pipes and things. Yeah, because this one kind of like just goes right through the middle of it. This looks a little weird. So let me see how it will look, how much stuff is sticking up if I turn it upside down the other way. Just for checking sake. I see that's a little bit more manageable. Yeah, I think that will work better. So still want it to kind of resemble the one on the other side. Now, the question will be, do I want to turn this one over here as well? And that might change up the configuration of this. So it may look odd that one's turned one way and one's turned the other way, because I've got like part at the top here and it's at the bottom over here. So maybe that won't quite work what we're thinking of, but this is a lot more doable. I think it might actually make more sense for the trying to get this zoomed out so I can see a little better. For the tank here and everything. Just trying to get this sunk down like I need it, because it's, I don't quite like. Not too concerned about this over here because this is removable, but definitely going to want to check how this is lined up. What would be ideal is if I got this to line up with that, that would make some sense, but I think it would push it too close up to the point here. All is maybe. Let's see what we got here. If I push it over, still not quite. See, it's a little crowded in the front. That would be my only concern. Turn this maybe and push it back. I love the link tool. Things a lot easier when it works right. There has been instances where it didn't. Thankfully, all of the items that I'm using aren't sized below the 0.20, because when it is, then they kind of enlarge all of a sudden when you don't really want them to. I don't know. That might bug me how it's turned. Feels a little off. But we'll leave it for now, just the heck of it. I think way more manageable than it was before. All of the big hunky bits showing. Yeah. Hey, BM. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. It's just kind of, I've had it happen where I'll be like linking a bunch of stuff up together. I like tried to move a countertop, and then I moved it and it just kind of exploded. Like half of it went across the way, and then the other half was like twisted, and I was like, no. So thereafter, I was like very leery to use that tool for a while. But it seems to, you know, have a little better success rate these days. So not as bad as it used to be. Let's just move this a little bit. Thank you for joining, by the way. Thanks. I appreciate that. Don't have too many CRB visitors. I think Peter, young war chief, comes by every now and then. I've seen him lurking a few times, but they don't normally talk too much. Okay, so kind of how we'll leave that. I guess now we'll work on the plants, because I really need to suit up some kind of foliage here, but I also need to work on this desk part, because he liked the middle part, but he wanted me to add in some more wood. So I don't know how exactly I'm going to do that without it looking really weird. I told him if I extend this over, that means I'll probably have to change up where the book and stuff is, just due to the size and everything. I'm not sure. So let's see, this is a curved full pipe. Gotta make sure it's purchased, because Katya's add-on, the current version I haven't updated again. I keep forgetting. Won't buy it straight. It's supposed to, but it's not. Well, I appreciate you dropping by, and feel free to drop by again later if you want. Let's see, I'm going to grab a couple of these. I may not even use all of them, but we'll see how it goes. Curved. Okay, we got 3 to work with. Let's see if we can squeeze a couple of these in without it going bonkers on me. Love the D shift button. Notice it comes in a little off, and you just hit the D shift and it's like exactly where it should, which is awesome. That toolkit of hers is a must-have, I swear. Okay, let's the only thing I hate is the toolbar here kind of moves around. I'm just going to tuck this in for a little bit until I get this book moved. See if I can link this all up so I can move it safely as one piece. Thankfully, I didn't use too many pieces, so it should be easy. That was something else I asked Kathy about, this little set function that she has incorporated into her add-on. It will allow you to, like, say somebody comes and visits and really likes this couch over here and wants to use it in their own house. Theoretically, I could copy, save that set, go to their housing plot as a roommate, and then place it, and it will set it all up for them. You do have to have all of the objects that, if it's not accessible via the housing vendor, you'll have to make sure those objects are in your crate already. But if it's like straight, all stuff used off of the housing vendor, it'll buy it for you and just plop, 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 plop. And that would be so fun. It'd be like, I can say, hey, I'll make this, and if anybody wants it, then just let me know, and, neighbor me, roommate me, and I'll drop it on your plot. I wouldn't doubt that somewhere down the road she will add some kind of way of importing, exporting set pieces and stuff, but it's just an awesome thing. I see a lot of potential there. Whoops, looks like I forgot one. Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case. With the feedback we provide and the wish list and everything, the more people that get into it, the more they're going to request certain things, quality of life things, and there's no escaping that. And it's a big selling point for a lot of us, not for everybody. Not everybody's into housing as fanatically as some of us, but yeah, definitely it would be great to see bigger and better things. It's like the effects decor that you guys introduced with the hoverboard Z-Pre invitational thing, the lightning strike and the blaze of fire. I'm really excited about those. Not necessarily because I expect I'll be using them anytime soon, but the potential there to bring us more things. Right now, every time somebody wants steam or some kind of smoky effect, they always have to rely on the blue flare. And that thing is the most awful thing to work with, because sometimes it doesn't sink down into the ground deep enough, or you have to make it super large, and then that bright light of it shows when you don't want it to. You just want the smoke. And I imagine that folks will be saying, please make us some more effects decor like smoke and maybe bubbling pools of mud or water or lava or something along those lines. Same with the water decor. The pieces that we're getting are fantastic, but there's a lot of other types of water that we would like to see. So yeah, it's just a matter of I'm sure it's one of those things that, there's priorities that the devs have to, what they can work on, what they can expand on. And it's like, I know that the neighborhoods are a big project that they've been working on. So hopefully it'll just get better and better. It'll encourage more and more people to sink their teeth into it, which is fun. I like that. Well, the snap corners would be interesting. I hadn't thought of that. I guess it would make it easy for like lining up fences and walls and things like that. But yeah, I can sympathize that there's certain limitations or things you have to overcome to make certain types of things like the water. But like a lot of people have been excited about the water, saying, oh, it's gonna be so fantastic that we have water. It's like, well, depends. If I want a sink full of water, I don't think I'll be using the new water pieces, because they come with that loud sound effect. The animation's really rushed and fast, and the shape is not exactly pliable. You know, if we had like a little disc of like just calm water, that would be great. A little square of it, you know, and then that can be enlarged in size for like swimming pools or sinks or tubs or, you know, toilets or whatever we decide to come up with. But you know, the water stuff is fantastic, but there's a lot of other things that I think we would really like to have introduced as well. Oh, well, see, that's, you know, again, you know, when we make these little wish lists and say, oh, we want this and we want that, you know, we don't have that knowledge of the back workings of how it all plays together. Requires a volume to change animations. Ugh. See, that's the technical stuff, I'm sure. That's not up my alley. Let's see if I can fit this back in here somehow. May have to rework how I've got the back part because I don't think that's going to fit comfortably. Maybe there. So big, I made it so big, I don't know if it'll work okay. Kind of clipped on the corner there. No. We'll put it in like that. Not exactly the most ideal, but I really don't want to crowd the top shelving area there. Yeah. I know I'm pretty fanatical about housing, and I know several people that are, but we're probably not the majority. So the demand is there, but maybe it's not like a percentage that is required to really say, hey, you must focus on this. Okay. So I'm not sure if that's going to work for him as enough wood or not. Let's see. Let me... see about sorting this better. Okay. So first we gotta like rearrange some of these little details that we had in here because you don't want your book kind of hidden. And then I've got this stack of books that's kind of sandwiched in and just, yeah. Let's see. Kind of hard to get up in there so I can see really good. Let's link this one, that pile, a bit out, it. Move that one here. That'll fit better. And then we'll just move these elsewhere. Oh, I got two piles there. Hold on. Well, that's good news, Mr. Prop Man, because I can tell you a lot of us has been begging for more awesome stuff. So any news on that end is very welcome. Okay, let's see. I'm going to move this one up top, I think. Things are so awkward. I can't see half of them because the color's the same. Get the depth right and then we'll move it. Like so. I just know that Thove wanted a ton of books around because his character's supposed to be a bookworm, so he wants lots and lots of books. So I'm doing my best to incorporate as many of that as I can. Okay. If later he decides he wants some more definition, like maybe some extra shelves, like little drawers or something in here, that might work. I could probably add a ton more books and papers up here. But I think for now we'll concentrate on these tanks. He really wants me to fill them up with some stuffs, and I've got to figure out what we can put in there. So I'm going to start with bushes and shrubs. Mostly, again, we're just going to be using what he's got on hand because, as I said before, we're kind of limited on space now because, let's see, we're at 897 now, so I can't be too frivolous as far as buying extra goodies, so I'm just going to have to stick with what he has, see what we can put together. So he's got a couple of these. Let's see what we can do with this. Again, he's disappointed that the coloring is kind of where I think he would prefer it more to be all of this lighter color than the dark. Again, a lot of it depends on the angle of your camera as to what you can see, how close you are to the tank, and the lighting. But as I said earlier, he played with the lighting and decided that it wasn't really the right mood to set it darker. Because in a darker lighting, these tanks really seem to light up a lot better. And you can see, not fully, but a little bit more of what's going on inside. Because it's really hard to see that I've actually put a tree trunk and a lot of mushrooms there. The color of them don't show through. Some of the shape is even hard to make out. So it's a little disappointing, I think, for him in that regard. But since these are some of the fewer really good, stable, non-motion kind of tanks that we have, that's what we got to work with. I'd almost be tempted to suggest to him to just make them plain clear glass tanks and capping them with a little bit of wood and foregoing the whole water bit. But as his whole little lab project is kind of built around being like a hydroponics kind of thing, all water and plants and things, I don't think that will play very well, and of course the color won't be there as well. So just one of the things you just kind of have to work around and hope that as we have access to different types of decor that we might be able to better set it up in the way that we really want to. Okay. So let's see what kind of plants we have. He doesn't have too many bushes, so there's his plants. There we go. Getting kind of limited there too. Let's see. Want something kind of full, but not too full. I like the Everburn. That's a really nice one. Try that one. It'll be a nice big filler as well. I'm hoping that the flames will show up pretty good. It might help call attention to whatever's in here. But again, you have to be cautious about it sticking out of the tank where you don't want it. Size it a little bit. Yeah, that's why that makes a lot of sense there. CRB being McLean is saying that the glass is additive on these particular tanks, meaning that when the light hits it, it makes them brighter. But as I said, he tried it on like Hellfire setting and on the dark setting, and while it does make those tanks really pop a lot and you can see more inside them, he didn't like it being so dark in here, so he switched it back to the default, I think it was. So it's just one of those things you have to kind of say, well, you know, give or take, kind of compromise. Hard to see if the plants are really positioned good, but I'm gonna say yes, they're perfect. Otherwise, I'm gonna be here all day figuring out what the heck is going on. Let's put some kind of rocks in. I'm kind of setting these up almost like the terrariums I've been doing around the rest of the house, but I don't want to put too much. I just want to kind of give some more different textures and stuff in there. So what is that, rock? Yeah. I think I'm going to have to move aside because I think these come in pretty big. Yeah, I really think that would be helpful, McLean, because just like in a situation like this, you know, there are times that we want, same way with, you know, any of our lights, like the ritual candle circle. It's like super bright, and there's a lot of times we want the ease of just being able to pop down all of those candles at once, but maybe we don't want that bright light that comes with it. It would be nice to have either a toggle or some kind of a slider adjustment to kind of tweak it a little bit. Same way with the, I think it's the standing brass lamp that's got the cones that are like super bright, and other lights that have, you know, they're set as a lighting element, but like their light is so soft you can't even hardly tell that it's on. It would be great to be able to adjust that to our needs based on the room lighting that we have it in, and other things. I'm sure there's a lot of nifty tricks people could pull off with that kind of freedom to adjust it. Well, they should. They should have it. Really, you know, I've heard a lot of builders say, you know, whatever the world builders have, we should have. That's the tools we need, like, you know, being able to adjust the terrain and everything. Because I know a lot of people are excited about having the flat surface on the housing plot now. But there's also a lot of us that are going to be missing that contoured surface, because when you sink something into the ground, it looks more realistic. If you have, say your plot is a wasteland and you want like little bits of things buried in the sand, it's going to look a little odd with all of the where it meets is just going to be straight. It's not going to feel like it's actually, you know, little dunes of sand and that kind of thing. And I think folks, I understand the reasoning behind it, because it helps with the flat materials like the metal floor, the ground. But I think a lot of people will miss it. I know some have already been asking for some way to kind of toggle that off and on like we do the clutter. Yeah, it's going to be one of those things that you know, folks will say, oh, we need this, and then you give it to us, and then we're like, well, that's not quite how we wanted it, you know, and, you know, we ask for adjustments to it. Yeah, that would work too, even if it's, you know, an option we have to purchase or whatever. Smooth and bumpy, I like that. It would be very helpful, as anything that gives us more variety and freedom to kind of set things up the way we want, I think is always a big plus. Okay, let's see what else can we stick in here that doesn't look too messy. Need something here. I feel like it's blank. So let's check out and see if we got any weird trees we can slap in there. Oh, I did get me some of these. That's good. Let's see. Erupted. No, no. Maybe that. Maybe that would work. It might be too much. I love that tree, but it's so big. I did use it though. I was proud. Maybe just some plants. Get back to the plants. Yeah, I understand that it takes time, and you know, just a reminder, we do have the housing wish list in the forums that has just got a gargantuan amount of stuff that people would love to see. I know at one point somewhere, one of the devs, I think, mentioned that the goal, loftily, was that every decor prop or like item prop that's out in the open world would eventually become accessible through housing. I think that's like probably we'll never see that fully realized because every time you know stuff gets added to our decor items, new areas in the world open up and we're going like, well, we want that and we want that and all kinds of things. But yeah, that wish list has got like a ton of stuff, and it's not just item specific, it's functionality things, quality of life things that they folks want. I try to organize it as best I can, but it's really tough because basically everybody wants everything, so it's kind of hard to say. Like they've been dying for Mordash houses and Makari homes and things like that, and it'll be something that people will always continue to ask for until we actually get it. Of course, once we get it, then it's like, well, that's not what I thought it should be, and that kind of thing. But I guess we'll slap some of these flowers in here somewhere. Trying to find one that looks nifty, I guess, that will show up. I'm not really doing these like the terrariums we did elsewhere where they're giving it a theme. I'm just kind of mix and matching certain plants that look like they might suit okay. So it's not like I'm only going with desert materials or anything like that. I just want something kind of big that will fill it up. That looks pretty good, sort of. You know, I told him that these are things he can change as he goes about it. Yeah, yeah, that's good news. I'm glad you guys check that out pretty regularly. I haven't really updated it because most of the time people are requesting the same stuff over and over. So it's kind of makes my job easier in a way because you know the same people or different people will come and ask for the same things. You know, mostly because they don't want to go through the entire thread to see what all's been offered up. But yeah, I tried to make the list pretty straightforward as far as you know some of the key elements they really want. But there's always other things, you know. It's like we'll see the fab kits. The fab kits are like awesome because it's like a glimpse at what we could have. Because like there's like sandwiches in the, I think it's the customization station. It's like I want that sandwich because I'm all the time doing like food props and things, and I'm having to make it up out of other things. Because like I've made pizzas and so soup bowls and ice cream cones and things like that. But it would be fun to have those as individual items too, just for those that you know maybe aren't as adventurous as myself and want to make it themselves. They just have the prop there. It's like we have a lot of people building like tool barns and workshops and things, but you know you can only do so much with a hammer. You know, that's like one of the few main tools we have. We have a few guns, but we don't have like other kind of like things like maybe a welder's helmet or a saw or wrenches, screwdrivers. I've seen some of those pieces out in the open world, but we don't actually have them as decor. And I know a lot of people that have those kind of themes for their houses would love those bits to be introduced. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you know, some of us, you know, that really like to play around with stuff, we'll find uses for that Macari chair if you make one, and it won't be a Macari chair when we get done with it, because that's part of the fun of the custom building. But yeah, basic props is usually a great way to go. Were you the one that like fiddled with the Chua chair? I think it's the one that's got the little, looks like a baby crib. It's got the little mobile of skulls on it. I was like, what is that for? Like the baby Chua chair. But it's like, for instance, I'm using these chairs over here as chairs, but I've changed it so it looks different. And that to me is the fun part. It's like on my main spot, I've got well, stools, but I've made a little, I don't know, a mailbox out of it just to kind of have fun. Because I often try to build stuff that doesn't look like what it actually is supposed to be. Yeah, exactly, exactly. But that's the fun part, you know. It's like, well, I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff I did out here. Let's see, let me reload. It's doing that laggy thing again. But like, a lot of people are fascinated with the tree I made because we don't have any strictly white trees, so I made the tree, and it's just fence posts and flowers. Um, Took a little, you know, time gathering all the pieces, but it's a really simple thing. And I'm hoping it'll inspire other builders to kind of experiment with making their own trees. Because while we do have a large selection of trees like the weeping willow ones and all of the oran types and alder oak trees and all of that kind of stuff, still when you're talking about seasons, you know, if we want a winter tree, you don't want always just those bare, naked looking ones that feel like they belong in a graveyard or something. You might actually want some white trees. And since we don't have snow-capped ones, I just thought, well, I'm going to make my own. And that's a great example of using something entirely what it's not supposed to be. But I fooled a lot of people. They're confused as to what items I've used, and when I tell them, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I never would have thought of that." But that's the fun part, you know, figuring out ways to put something together and then kind of convincing them that it came that way, you know, or just making it so that they don't recognize what it actually is. That's the fun part. Kit bashing. I'll have to remember that term. That's fun. But yeah, that's part of the thing. But you know, one thing I would love, um, two main wishes from me is one that our storage space is actually bigger than our decor owned. I mean, our ability to decor placed. I want more storage because a lot of us have the habit of like setting up our plot to do with the seasons or whatever holiday things going on. Um, or maybe we want to temporarily, you know, hold a specific guild event on it and we have to, you know, wipe whatever we have on there. It would be great to be able to not have to delete stuff just to make room for the new materials that we need. Um, oh, sorry. Anyway, I would really like lots of extra storage, not just, you know, not necessarily up decor place, but decor owned, I guess would be the right way. Um, just so that, because like for my plot currently, it's like the next time I want to build a new theme, there's going to be a ton of decor I have to actually remove from my crate because I won't have room for it. Because there's a lot of things that are unique, one of a kind, hard to buy, hard to acquire, that I just don't want to lose. And those things slowly are piling up more and more, and so it's leaving less and less room for all this extra frivolous stuff that I use for all of this custom building. The other thing would be some way of customizing basic furniture. Maybe not like if you've got a Macari chair, but if it's just a regular basic chair, to repaint it much like you do with gear. Have some kind of a way to change the coat so that if we want a wood chair or a metal chair or a rock chair, that would be a great addition. Like I said, it would mostly be for like the building block type of decor that I'm talking about, not just the specific stuff, but like having the walls where we could change the wallpaper look on it. That would be great. I mean, if someone wants an entire house made of pink, you know, they can't really do that right now because there's just not a lot of pink stuff. As an example, not that anyone would really want to build an entirely pink house, but